No, never talk. Just go. Leave this forest. Go leave these islands. Go return from where you've been. They always think they know better than this kith in this wood. Then when they need help, they always go ask me. You go. Speak quickly then. Your words disturb this place. Then you think the Huan are here to serve you? Akara, they are not. I say always those who come to these islands, they want to take. Only ever to take. No, your sort always want. This forest is not yours. This land is not yours. Go, leave. Then go, take this. They protect you if you speak true. They tear out your throat if no.
Better see what that crowd's about.
What if the giant comes this way?
Please, everyone stay calm. Please, everyone remain calm. I assure you I will do everything in my power to get you the answers you need. Our friends among the Huana
have offered you hospitality and safety from the storms.
Yes. I think we are all keenly aware of the debt of gratitude we owe to the...
I have personally seen to the safety of your homes. Now you will do the same for our families.
What about our families?
What about the ships? How are we supposed to feed ourselves?
If everyone would...
It's one of the pirates.
Two of my guards reported a ship flying deer wooden colors, fallen prey to a private vessel. That would be your ship, I assume.
That would make her lucky. Your own vessels do not usually fare so well.
Quite. Per complanca, everyone, forgive me. I believe this matter requires my attention. You have my word that I will keep you apprised of any changes. Especially you, Mr. Ikawa.
Do not flatter me with Valian titles. You are distracted with your newcomer and wish me gone. But I will not go far, Governor Clario.
Giralde. As for you, stranger, let us speak at my estate. We'll discuss your predicament.
What marvelous carvings!
Oh, yes. This one is many centuries old. Blessed by Ngati herself.
Magnificent!
Of course.
Ah, yes, there you are. As governor and under the auspices of the Valian Trading Company, please allow me to officially welcome you to Port March. I'll ask my guards to find some feed for your animal. Apologies for that little drama outside. These are confusing times, and people often react poorly to uncertainty. Between the storm, the pirates, and the, well, certain strange events, we are all a little on edge. Interesting. Is that why you came? This may be a Valian trading company outpost, but I welcome settlers willing to work. A fearsome task out here. You have a great deal of water and land to cover. But I see your point. The sooner you are away, the less likely your quarry will slip the net, no? Now, to the matter of your ship. You're stranded, are you? It was a rough landing by all reports. Unfortunately, our own ships are in no condition to sail. We've had dealings with the pirates ourselves. They've taken their share of supply ships. The storm saw to those berthed in the harbor. All that said, I believe I may have a solution, provided you're willing to help me in turn. Indeed, which means I can spare you, whereas I cannot spare the guards. I have the guards on the lookout for pirate vessels looking to take advantage of whatever damage the storm caused. We've cannons enough to see them off, but I need every man ready to use them. There is a site of some considerable value elsewhere on the island. A value to the trading company, you understand. In point of fact, it's the very reason, any of us are here. You're familiar with the luminous Adra trade? Well, luminous Adra is to Adra what a fine wine is to, well, never mind that. The point is that it is a particularly potent material, suffused with essence, and it is only found right here in the Deadfire archipelago. It's also quite valuable. When refined, it sells for considerable sums. The trading company has invested a lot of time and money into locating sites suitable for mining and processing. That's a colorful way of putting it. Energy, really, is more apt. It's not quite a matter of digging up the spirit of your old grandmother. We, and I hope you understand that these matters require some discretion, have one such outpost on the other side of the island. A successful venture, up until very recently. We sought to improve the refinement process. To that end, we hired some of the brightest minds in the field of animancy and brought them out here to lend their expertise. And then one evening, a storm rolls in out of nowhere, and my scouts begin to report that a giant has marched its way across the island towards my dig site. What am I to make of that? We haven't heard from Mestre Odorisi since, nor any of his assistants, or the workers. I must know what has happened. If Odorisi, if his work is lost, then everything that we have worked for is at risk. Which is where you come in. You need a ship, I need information. See to this for me, and I'll set half the town to work. We'll patch up your ship, and you'll be free to go on your way. Gillard, then we are one more thing. If you should recover Odorisi's notes, know that they would be of great value to me.
Good, you are here. Clario has made good on his promise. We are making ready to free your ship. I say still that you are fortunate. The ship was nearly lost, but it will float. For how long, I cannot say. You will wish to find a friendly port with some speed, I think. So you will go to the great Kahanga city as well. You must sail north for some time, and then a little east. Take care in Nekitaka, outsider. It will close its jaws around you, and you will never notice. Come, we will see your defiant out to sea.
We should address the matter of our ship's resources before we get underway. It saddens me to inform you that we lost several crew and most of our provisions during the storm. However, Port Margé appears to be well supplied, and I expect the recent disaster has left several sailors in want of a ship. I suggest we contract for additional supplies and crew before we return to open water, or our voyage may indeed be a short one.
On behalf of the Principe Sen Patrina, I must request we meet in parley. Agrasima. I will make this quick. I have heard some marvelous tales regarding your ventures in the Deerwood. In fact, you are the first dragon slayer I have ever met, outside of a grave. Some fools would seek to make a fortune by pilfering from one such as you.
He's done his research. Might as well hear him out.
I believe you have met such a fool. Captain Benweth of the Drake. The short-sighted scoundrel has been wreaking havoc in the area for months. He is no son of Velia. I do not fault his ancestry, but he disregards too much the grand heritage we Principi represent. Benweth is the second most selfish captain within the Principi's newest generation. He risks all that we value. Perhaps I have said too much. This is a problem solely of my own, for now. Few pirates retire comfortably, Amica. We sink and we hang or we burn. We must replace our losses, accepting from many regions, including the Deadfire. Benweth is no captain of mine, Amica. It is not beneath my flag his Drake sails. Yet I do seek to temper his actions when they would endanger the Principe altogether. As an ally to the Knights of the Crucible, I believe Benweth sought to take you down a notch. Word of Benweth's raid on the Defiant will spread throughout the Deadfire. More fools will seek to prey upon you. I would suggest you stave off all others by making an example of Benweth.
For Auntie's, do my job for me, friend. Hope you don't die in the effort.
Benweth's Drake took damage during the storm. Eventually, he will need to dock for repairs, and when he does, Seraphin can find him for you. He is rather an unrefined creature, but he is a most skilled ship hunter, I assure you.
Unrefined? Begging your pardon, Captain, but I'd be the high fucking model of the gentleman of fortune. As for Benweth, that sucker of squid tits be as predictable as the tide. I'd wager all my furriest bits that he'd set sail for Deadlight.
That would be felicitous indeed, as I believe the traitor Remaro hides there as well. I quite enjoy killing two men with a single bullet.
Wouldn't have even thought of it if you hadn't brought it up, sir. Now, I ain't hardly in any hurry to leave the fine company of the gentlemen of leisure, but the captain be right about me finding your mark. Adding to that, you sail into Fort Deadlight not knowing your innies from your outies, you might very well find the locals cannon fucking your boat to sodden splinters. Oh, you won't be regretting this, Watcher. At least so long as you keep us heavy in grog and light on the onions. Ugh, them dirty shit apples ain't never agreed with me, and I'll be suspecting they never will.
He's not sleeping near my berth, I promise you that much.
I sail now for Dunwich, my own safe port. I will await you there, should you be successful in schooling our wayward captain.
I feel you are in need of redemption, for you know the touch of darkness, of death. Do you seek a blessing from the light? You chose wisely. Endurance is the path to perfection. Hand me your palm. We'll strengthen your spirit through tribulation. This flame lacks the flicker of guidance, but it will purify both flesh and soul. Let the pain absolve your sins. And now for the benediction, with our godly Redeemer and bringer of light, who shepherds his flock through the labyrinth of hell. Though you currently rest in peace, we remain devoted until the time of your revival. We believe in your coming rebirth, in the restoration of your holy greatness, and to banish the shadows of the unfaithful and wash away the sins of our past. I can repeat it. Slower this time, if you like. A shame. The ceremony was nearly finished. Go and be well.
It's not right. I came here on the first ship. Why does an islander get paid the same as I?
They're bigger than you, and they haul cargo without whining about it.
It's not right.
Sorry, we haven't any rooms for you. We're full up. You aren't the first outsider to turn up looking for a place to stay after their ride off the island ended up at the bottom of the sea. Well, tell you what. I've got one room ought to have been cleared out by now. Only the occupants decided to outstay his welcome. He's a merchant captain by the name of Galleon. I've given him a fair chance, but he's been a right prick about the whole thing. I've got a spare key here. You chase him and his pals off, and the room's yours. At a discount. I appreciate it, truly. I don't want the man dead, and that's not what I'm paying for. Just see him on his way and we'll call it done.
Happily.
Crew's getting antsy.
Maybe we cut them loose. We're not leaving anytime soon.
Ah, a new face. You've heard, of course, that Norgund remains the most reliable and discreet supplier of mostly legitimate wares. Are you looking for something in particular?
Don't remember ordering more drinks. Thought I'd locked that thing. Thing is, the way doors work, right? And I realize this is complicated, is that you close them and then uninvited people stay on the other side. Try not to slam the door on your way out, yeah? My head's going to pieces. Oh, aye. You running Thorol's errands? Well, I haven't got his pay, and he knows it. Come back tomorrow. Better yet, tell him I'll swing by myself when I do have it. All right. Just keep your boots on. We're leaving. Thorol wants us out on the streets so bad, so be it.
You serious, Galleon? Where are we supposed to go? Indeed.
Still kicking, eh? What'll it be? Hey, good work. Times like these, I can't afford to keep on anyone who can't pay their tab. The second word got around, I'd have every pauper in the city on my doorstep. The room's yours if you want it, and for a job well done, here's your pay. Still kicking, eh? What'll it be? There's plenty of people looking for passage out of here. Let's see if any of them catch your interest.
The ring of a bell comes to you on a cold wind. The ring comes again and again, until soon the air is full with the sound of 1,000 bells ringing all at once. You are alone. And then, you are not. An indistinct figure stands before you, flickering between forms like a fire-cast shadow. A fixed, taunting grin. Bottomless black eyes. A yawning chasm in the earth. The aspects of Berith, the Usher and the Pallid Knight, shift in and out of focus. And at their back, 4 indistinct shades hover. You feel an eternity stretch out behind each of them, reaching back to places so distant and yet so near you cannot comprehend their size. The shifting image of Berith settles on the aspect of the Pallid Knight.
Watcher.
Her voice is the discordant clangor of gongs struck out of time.
I tasked you to discover Aethys's intentions. Tell me what you have learned.
The Pallid Knight knits her brows.
He does not seek to return to the Beyond? Intriguing.
Her sickly pale skin pulls tight across the bones of her face, as if the shell of this aspect does not quite fit the impossible creature it contains. The figure nearest Berith dissolves and reforms in the image of a thin-lipped, ancient crone, whose face has felt the melting kiss of fire. The goddess Wodika strides forward.
Does Aethys frighten you, Berith? He should. Magran subdued Aethys's influence once before, and yet he returned.
From out of Wodika's shadow shuffles a hunched, bald man you recognize as the god Scan. His skin is mapped with swollen lash scars, and breath whistles through the ragged hole in his face where his nose once was. He does not speak, but stares up at Wodika with naked loathing plain on his ruined face. Wodika steeples her long, knob-jointed fingers.
We must annihilate Aethys now, before he makes a rash decision we cannot easily annul.
She casts a sly look at the Pallid Knight from the corners of her eyes.
A moon would do the job nicely.
A voice echoes from the shape nearest Berith.
The lava is too large to be moved, and Koltha too quick to be caught, even for a god of Wodika's strength and apparent lunacy.
The figure beside the aspect of Berith flows forward in a swirling cloud of ash. The ash falls to the tiles and reveals a molten-skinned woman, leaning on a monstrous, wicked-edged broadsword. Magran's glowing lips curl in disdain.
We must find a solution to the problem of Aethys that is neither do nothing, nor destroy the world. I acted in haste during the Saints' War. You will not goad me into doing the same now. To move against him while his plans are unknown would be the height of foolishness. We must find wisdom in precaution.
Another of the silent figures steps forward, and the warm, golden light of a summer's afternoon spills across your face.
Let's all take a deep, calming breath. Perhaps cooler heads will prevail.
Behind Helia's words, you hear the soft coo of doves.
Aethys has been separated from us for too long. Isn't it possible he intends only to gather enough souls to reclaim his realm in the Beyond? He should be welcomed.
You look up then into avian eyes. Through them, you see clouds of starlings converge and divide. Scan shuffles forward.
Yes, yes. We should welcome Aethys's return to the fold. His gratitude we can leverage to cajole him into divulging his plot. Then, when he believes himself to be in our good graces, we do as Wedica suggests, and crush him into the earth.
Scan pauses, inspecting you.
Ah, and here is the Watcher who killed Lord Horan, the man who tormented his dear niece, Alice. Curious.
Scan licks the ragged edge of his lipless mouth and grins, then turns to Helia.
I did not expect such a deliciously ruthless idea from you, Helia. I am impressed.
Helia's feathered crest stands on end.
You wretched little creature.
The Pallid Knight gestures for silence.
Aethys cannot be killed, but he may be subdued. Yet to do so will take immense power and time. Both stand in his favor.
Magrin grits her black glass teeth.
That is why we must ascertain his plans before he has the chance to put them into motion.
She begins to pace. Her steps leave little trails of fire in her wake. Magrin stops and balls her hands into flaming fists.
Even if we manage to destroy his current form, there is the possibility he could return, if he has not already absorbed all of his children.
The Pallid Knight casts a cold, cutting glare in Magrin's direction.
Magrin speaks too freely. That knowledge is beyond your ken, Watcher.
Wodica waves the gods to silence.
Aethys gathers strength. His strength is a threat to us.
Her voice takes on a sharp, almost panicked edge.
There is no sensible answer to the question of a resurgent Aethys other than decisive, final action.
Your opinion is unasked for, but noted.
The Pallid Knight says.
We will act when it is appropriate to do so, and not before.
The Pallid Knight steps away from the half-circle of assembled gods. She pulls herself up to a great height. The words she speaks next come not from her mouth, but from all around you.
Follow him, Watcher.
The black of the Pallid Knight's irises expand until her eyes are as dark and cold as the void between stars. She bends down and brings her ghostly face level with your own.
Your debt to me remains unpaid.
She stares at you, unblinking. Like a needle drawn to a magnet, you are pulled toward her one compulsory step at a time. You blink open your eyes and find yourself on the floor of your ship's cabin, alone.
Of course.
Is anyone seeing to your... You stood with me through more than anyone I've ever known. But a lot has happened over the last 5 years. After we parted, I set out to destroy the Leaden Key. It's controlled us for too long. I wanted to free Kith from it. So for 5 years, I've been tracking down Leaden Key circles, searching for the places where they operate in secret, trying to undo them. The task has been more difficult than I anticipated. I don't think I fully understood the weight of the decisions I would have to make, or the burden of living with them. It was much easier when I only had to follow someone else's lead. My father's, Theos's, yours. I haven't. After we defeated Theos, I thought the hard part of undoing his work would be tracking down the Leaden Key's members and operations. Perhaps this would be easier with an example. I went to a village in Old Valia, a run-down backwater of a place. Centuries ago, the Leaden Key had intervened to end some heretical cult. The details were lost, but what had endured was a practice of ritual bloodletting. A gruesome, pointless tradition. At every full moon, the villagers would feed the soil with their blood. No one, young or old, sick or hale, was exempt. Yes, but the specifics depended on whom you asked. Some thought it would ward off Scan, or bring Berith's favor on the village, or Gon's blessing to their crops. The village priest administered the practice. Grim old fellow. Reminded me of Theos. He was a tyrant. I was certain that if the villagers were free of his influence, they'd be free from the bloodletting too. So I arranged for him to have an accident. The old man died, and the villagers were terrified. They were convinced his death was an ill omen. They blamed it, and every other mishap that befell them, on their lack of faith. So they began bloodletting every week, turning on their neighbors for giving too little. Instead of a handful dying each year, a few perished every week. I had to do something, didn't I? I keep wondering what I might have done differently, or how I could have known better. Then at least I'm in good company. I should get some rest. It's been a long day, and you've given me a lot to think about. Ah, that. I'm looking for an old Leaden Key sect. I've found several references, but I want to be sure. Please, let me go over my notes again. Then I promise I'll tell you everything. I hope you know I have immense respect for all you've accomplished. But lately, I fear you're leading us down a troubling path. Theos relied on people's unquestioning trust in order, their enslavement to tradition. That's how he built the Leaden Key into an organization capable of influencing events across Aora. And that's why I set about ending it. Yet recently, I've seen you put entirely too much faith in old ways of doing things. The leaders of nations and powers listen to you. The gods themselves rely on you. You have a responsibility to use these opportunities to free Kith from destructive habits and antiquated customs. I'm relieved to hear it. if nothing else, I appreciate that you've taken the matter to heart. Thank you for hearing me out.
Hey, this brings back some memories, huh? I want the destruction to stop. I want him to finish what he's doing and then go in peace. Only I don't see it playing out that way. If you like. I like that feeling, knowing we'd stop Theos. We were part of something big. That was something I never felt before, not even at war. Guess I went looking for it again. Not that I wanted to tangle with gods, but something smaller. Something I thought I could manage. I looked all around the Deerwood, but that place has too many ghosts for me. Things I'd just as soon forget. Ended up moving to Adir and tracking down my parents. They went there as refugees after the war ended. In part, I guess. Adir, they still got some bad blood with Deerwood. Goes back to the Revolution. Some Adirans like to give Deerwoodans a hard time they get the chance. With my folks, a group came along and tried to take their land. Made a phony claim to it. I sat down with them and we had a friendly negotiation. One fella, I don't think he'll ever be able to look to his right again. But we came to an understanding. My folks, well, they didn't see me the same after that. I think they'd have rather given up the land than have it come to violence. And I don't know if that was something we could have avoided, or if it was the cost of trying to fix things. If you like. The air is different. Especially compared to Gilded Vale, where there's more livestock than shovels. Sounds different, too. You wake up to all those bird calls, it really does sound like they're making music. If the birds woke you in Gilded Vale, it was usually a couple crows making the most horrible mating noises you ever heard. Strange thing is, I still get this feeling in me like I wish I was home.
Ahoy, Captain. Truth be told, Ferrante half expects us to get our asses blown out of the water at Fort Deadlight. Fortunately for you, I have this bad habit of beating the odds. Of course, I do that by way of good old traditional chicanery. And the most important part of any hornswoggle? Solid planning. Well, that and surviving. Vailian made originally. Piled them stones up a few centuries back, but gave it up when the fishmen wouldn't leave them be. Hard to defend against Wilder crawling up out of your crappers. Captain Aldiz claimed it a few years back. Fucking filthy from bow to stern, and she had her lads and lasses cleaning fish shit out of the floorboards for months. A couple of them thought he might be better sailing elsewhere and left in the night. Aldiz tracked them down quick as you like, took their heads, and fixed them into little lanterns for the front gate. Called them Fort Deadlight's Deadlights. They say she ain't had a deserter since. Tad cruel for my taste, but I admit to admiring the wordplay. Funny thing about it being a fort means it ain't a boat. Means it don't have to worry about the weight of cannons or storing honking big balls. Guns they got crowning that castle put a hole in your poop deck before you've sighted land. Fort itself be floored of ceiling rum-sodden fools, so that be going for us. But Aldi's keeps the crew on the walls sharp and sober. One blast of their horns and Deadlight's locked up tight as an Adiran mugger night. We'll stay that way too, till any unfamiliar ships have been shot to shit and shot again. Yeah, she's sharp as shit, that one. Tongue, mind, and ears alike. Sailed out of Deerwood or Adir one. Knows her knots, and how to crew a ship that won't turn sour. But words ring out among the Principe, more than you'd think for new blood. Part of that's her fierce support of freedom, from slavers, from the Empires, From the Juana's caste system, even. The rest are lenient and step out of line and Ferrante's got your old crew up for lashes. Aldis, though, she's, let's say there's a reason she attracts limp-cocked nut twists like Benwith. Can't say I much approve of a lack of regard for our traditions, but, can't say I don't share her vexations with Ferrante and the old garden either. The Principe's no fleet. More a mishmash of fiercely independent captains. A lot of them take to one another like sharks to krakens. But we be bound by the slippery slip knots of tradition. Even those bucking tradition cooperate for protection against our enemies. Many of the old guard have died off, though, and the new blood flooding in be, less the civil sort. I did say contacts, didn't I? Contact would be more accurate, in the singular. A lass by the name of Ciri. Been running the same circles for years, doldrums and fair winds. We're never family, but never on the wrong ends of arms, neither. Might have shaken the sheets a few months back. Regardless of how she feels about me, there's no love lost betwixt her and Benwith, that's for damn certain. Deadlight's a tough coconut to crack, but if not cracking, what are nuts for? Smart play for crashing any party involves scavenging yourself up an invite, and then dressing to impress. Looking the part in this case means hoisting colours identifying us as Principe. Don't have to tell you how dangerous such a bit of fabric can be if the wrong person catches you flying it. Aye, Captain. Looking forward to watching you work.